Well, hello and welcome to the Intuitive Messenger channel. They call me Mitchell, and this is your energy forecast and intuitive message for today, Saturday, November the 14th, 2015, as always. Thank you so much. So in my quiet meditative time, I really went deep and I said, Spirit, what do I need to say? What do I need to talk about? And basically, Spirit was just telling me to tell you who watch this to share what my mental process is, what my emotional, state of being is when something like yesterday in Paris happens. Because I don't often, dive into stuff like that. I usually focus on you and me and what's going on in our lives and how spiritual growth and development. But so, last night someone had replied to me, I hope what happens over in Paris doesn't happen here. And I was like, oh, what's going on? It was a private message just referencing Paris. So I dug a little deeper, watched just a little bit of the news, because for many empathic, psychic, mediumistic people, it can be a little challenging, to see that, because the dead come flooding to us, the confused, the frustration, the anger. I remember feeling the waves of what happened in Haiti before I even knew what was going on. And many people felt it as well. So here's what my process is when I see that. First and foremost, I immediately kind of step outside of my body, so I'm not attached to my own emotions for a moment, and I send love, and I send healing, and I send protection, I send guidance. At one point, Spirit showed me to walk down the streets of Paris, and I had my hands held out to the side, just almost like touching every building energetically. And then what they led me to do was, it was really weird. I've never done this before, but it was like I pulled a veil or blanket of white light over the entire, country, mainly the city, but expanded out farther. So it was very interesting, because it was like a veil of white light of healing and protection. And then my second thought is, I realize, and this is not the popular thing, I realize people are hurt, frustrated. People, I saw the number over 149 people have been killed last night. And again, from a high spiritual level, many exit at many times. And I just said there were a lot of people exiting this past week. A lot of, several weeks ago, a lot of people were buying new homes, shifting and moving their location. Then in the last couple of weeks, I know at least 5 people connected to me that were going to funerals. And here we are, a mass exodus of people. It's through a very tragic, awful way, which, again, I don't condone, I don't, accept it, but I'm also a believer in karma, and we come back, and we're here to experience things, etc., etc. So I immediately think of, and this is where I go, I always have, I immediately go to those who were perpetrating this crime, and I think, wow, what anxiety, anger, what bottled up frustration, what bottled up spiritual frustration, because typically people who do these things think they're doing something noble and just and right. Even Hitler thought his cause was a noble, just, one that God wanted him to do. And then I pause and I think to myself, where am I still bottling up my anger, my frustration? Where am I spiritually frustrated? Where am I contributing to the global? And again, this is not a popular thought for many people, but I asked Spirit, you sure want me to share this? So I immediately go to, where am I contributing to the vibration of what happened yesterday? How can I not contribute to that anymore? And I cannot contribute to it by getting angry and being frustrated and mad. I don't condone it. I don't accept it. I think of a high vibrational way that we can take what has happened, which cannot be changed, and turn it into something positive. Turn the energy of this into something beautiful, into something that we can learn from, we can grow from. And that's my process. An example in quiet time was, I remember, several years ago when my grandfather, he killed himself at 95. I immediately did the same process. I stopped, I paused, I connected with his energy, and I thought, wow, you probably never expected to live to 95. A man born in the early 1900s, and he was done living. So I immediately think, what was his mindset at that point? And I had no judgment about it. And then how can I take what my grandfather did and learn from it? And what I came away from my grandfather's, suicide, because that's what it was. It was a suicide. I realized I don't think he had any purpose at this point, because I don't think he thought he would ever live this long. And I've always felt, probably about around 21 years old, I always have planned I'm going to live to 120. So I'm going to make sure I have a good quality life. But then again, with my grandfather, I thought, if he didn't have purpose, what can I do in my life to make sure I do? And this work is part of it. This is part of my purpose. If I'm laying in a bed and all I can do is type with my tongue, I can still do videos and send out, messages and do psychic readings and have a purpose in this life. Would it be the quality of life I want to have? I don't know if I get there. But again, all of that, I look at I look at the micro of who and what I am and how it affects the macro, the large, the world, the global. So, I send out, high vibrational healing to that place, to anybody who is affected. And then one of the other things that Spirit was showing me is not to step into it and become a martyr for it or become a victim of something that had nothing to do with you. So I see lots of posts of people, and this has become now their cry for help, their attention getting. And, that's where they are in their learning process as well. So I know this is a longer video today, but it was one of those where I felt like Spirit really wanted me to talk about, because I usually don't talk about this, because people have very, very highly charged opinions about what's going on there. And I don't look at it from a human perspective. I'm looking at it from a spiritual perspective, because that's part of who I am and what I do in my life and my job. If I stepped into my work mode at my work, I would probably be talking a little bit different to people around me. But right now, in my home, waking up, seeing it last night, this is where I am. So all that being said, let's look at the cards and numbers and see how it can support us and move us forward in a high vibrational place. So Lenormand for today, November 14th, we are looking at the garden. This is about gatherings of people. This is about groups. This will be about vigils. This will be about memorial services. This will be about wakes. This will be about, a lot of that stuff. My right side of my body is vibrating and getting cold chills. Tarot to go along with that, the Devil card. This is about being chained to ideas and thoughts and opinions. This could be, being stuck in a place, trapped. The Devil is about fear. So, there are probably going to be a lot of communities and groups and places that are going to gather together in fear. And I hope that more of them gather together in a place of love, remembrance, celebration, learning, and growth. That's my intention. That's how I bring high vibration. That's how I know. That's what I know. And I'm letting Spirit speak to me right now. This is channeling. Tomorrow, continuing on, Lenormand, we're looking at the Sun card. I'm smiling because when I asked, I was opening the cards and asking what do I need to do, I got the whip and the sun. So continue to spread that beautiful, bright light. So for me, this is positive, beautiful, bright light energy. The Sun card also is going to be victory, success, confidence, optimistic, attitude. Tarot to go along with the Sun card, 10 of Wands. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of hard work to continue to spread that beautiful sun. And 10 of Wands is a fire card. So we got this sun, this fire for tomorrow's energy number 6 a day. 16 energies there, restructuring, rebuilding, but also number 7, dynamic, moving forward, spiritual, metaphysical, research and analysis, investigative. So there's going to be a lot of hard work to continue to shed the light on all the things that have been going on. So there's your very long message for today. I had to speak that out today. So I say to you, namaste. Check out my website if you feel led, intuitivemitchell.com. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.